Assalamu alaikum. This is Mohammad Singh welcoming you to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. Election Commission confident to holding neutral election, says CEC as appeals for cancelled nominations begin. BNP leaders and activists, as well as people from all walks of life, continue to pay tribute at the grave of Begum Khalda Zia. A condolence book in memory of former Prime Minister Begum Khalda Zia opened at Btv-Chattogram Centre premises. The top leaders of Left Democratic Alliance meet BNP Acting Chairman Tariq Rahman. Emphasis given on free, fair and credible elections. US President Trump warns fall of governments in Colombia and Cuba. Maduro being taken to federal court in New York. And Bangladesh bans broadcasting of all IPL games and events. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. The Chief Election Commissioner, CEC AMM Nasiruddin said, the current commission believes in holding a free and fair election. The CEC made the remarks while speaking to journalists this morning after visiting the appeal reception venue. Meanwhile, in the afternoon, Election Commission Senior Secretary Akhtar Ahmed said all aggrieved candidates would be able to file appeal applications. He said decision would be made after scrutiny to determine whose nominations would be declared valid. At the Election Commission complex in the capital, 10 booths have been set up to receive appeals from those aggrieved by the decision of returning officers. Sunday was the final day of nomination scrutiny. In this round of scrutiny, the nomination papers of 723 candidates were rejected. Aggrieved candidates will be able to file appeals with the Election Commission from today till January 9. The Appellate Division upheld the verdict to publish the Gazette restoring the boundaries of the Faridpur 4 constituency to their previous configuration. The order was issued today by the Appellate Division headed by the Chief Justice Jubair Rahman Chaudhary. Earlier, on December 11, the High Court declared the Gazette notification illegal issued by the Election Commission that had attached the Algi and Hamirdi unions of Bhanga Upazila in the Faridpur 4 constituency to Nagarkanda Upazila of the Faridpur 2 constituency. Previously, on September 22, the High Court had issued a rule asking why the Election Commission's Gazette notification transferring the Algi and Hamirdi unions of Faridpur 4 constituency to Faridpur 2 constituency should not be declared illegal. The writ petition was filed with the High Court by 5 individuals, including BNP nomination aspirant for the 13th National Parliamentary election from Faridpur 4, Muhammad Shahidul Islam Babul, and Supreme Court lawyer Muhammad Mahbubur Rahman Dulal. A testimony was given at the International Crimes Tribunal in the case over the killing of 7 people, including the burning of 6 bodies in Australia of server during the July mass uprising of 2024. The hearing began this morning at Tribunal 2, headed by Justice Nazrul Islam Chaudhary. In the case, defense lawyers cross-examined investigation officer Jan Alam for the 4th consecutive day today. Earlier, his deposition was recorded by the prosecution. Meanwhile, the prosecution informed that proceedings in another July mass uprising case scheduled for hearing today at the same tribunal will not take place. In the morning, 10 arrested accused in the 2 cases were produced before the tribunal. A BNP Standing Committee member, Dr. Abdul Moin Khan, said Begum Khaleda Zia dedicated her entire life for democracy, proving through sacrifice that the country's interest always came first, even when many choose compromise. He made the remarks while speaking to journalists after placing wreaths at the mausoleum of martyred President Ziaur Rahman and Begum Khaleda Zia at Sher-e-Bangla Nagar in the capital today. BNP Standing Committee member Altaf Hossain Chaudhary, BNP Vice Chairman Shamsud-Zaman Dudu, BNP Chairperson Advisor Abdul Salam, National Democratic Movement Chairman Bobby Hajjaj, and leaders and activists of various associate organizations also paid their homage. Like the rest of the country, the port city of Chattogram is mourning the death of former Prime Minister and BNP Chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia. A condolence book has been officially unveiled at the Btv-Chattogram Center today to pay tribute to her memory. The condolence book was inaugurated in front of the administrative building of the Btv-Chattogram Center initiated by Justice Chattogram City Unit. During the condolence book unveiling program, the signatories remembered Begum Khaleda Zia's political life and her contribution to the development of the country. At the condolence book unveiling, the General Manager of the Btv-Chattogram Center, Imam Hussain, President of Television and Radio Artists Association, Abdul Manan Rana, Justice Chattogram City Convener, M. A. Masud Pablu, Joint Convener Said Jayuddin, Secretary Momin Rashid Shipon, and others paid tribute to Begum Khaleda Zia and sought forgiveness for her departed soul. The condolence book will remain open for artists and officials and employees of the center to pay their respects for the next 2 days. After that, it will be preserved in the Central Archive through proper procedures. Senior leaders of the Left Democratic Alliance today paid a courtesy call on BNP Acting Chairperson Tariq Rahman at the party chairperson's office in the capital's Gulshan. Earlier, the Left Democratic Alliance leaders signed the condolence book for BNP chairperson and former Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Zia placed at the venue. Alliance leaders Mujahidul Islam Selim, Qazi Sajjad Jahir Chandan, Abdullah Kafir Ratan, Shariful Nurul Ambiya, Nazmul Haq Pradhan, Dr. Mustafa Hussain, Buzlur Rashid Firoj, Rakir Jaman Ratan, Iqbal Qadir Shahid Professor Abdul Sattar, Masud Rana Mushrifur Mishu, and Abdullah Ali were in the team. Now, international news. Donald Trump warned Venezuela's new leader, Delcy Rodríguez, she could pay a very big price, probably bigger than Maduro, if she doesn't do what's right. His comments to U.S. magazine The Atlantic came as the country's deposed President Nicolas Maduro was set to appear in a New York court on Monday. The U.S. accused Maduro, who is charged with drug trafficking and weapons offenses, of running a narco-terrorist regime, a claim he denied. Rodríguez, who served as Maduro's vice president, adopted a conciliatory tone at her first cabinet meeting on Sunday, offering cooperation with the U.S. Backed by Venezuela's Supreme Court and the military, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has insisted the U.S. is not at war with Venezuela, after a strike in Caracas on Saturday led to Maduro and his wife being taken into custody and transported to the U.S. Some Democratic lawmakers said the operation was an act of war. On Saturday, Trump had vowed the U.S. would run the country until a safe and proper and judicious transition was possible. Trump also promised U.S. oil companies would move into Venezuela to fix infrastructure and start making money for the country. Despite the U.S. president's claims, Maduro's allies remain in charge. A Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said on Sunday that China has never believed any country has the right to act as international police and doesn't accept that any country can style itself as an international judge. stressing that the sovereignty and security of all countries must be fully protected under international law. Wang made the remarks in the Chinese capital Beijing while holding the 7th round of the China-Pakistan Foreign Ministers' strategic dialogue with Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Mohammad Ishaqdar. During the talks, both nations agreed to uphold the purposes and principles of the United Nations Charter and oppose hegemonic acts that infringe upon the sovereignty of other countries. Noting that the sudden escalation of events in Venezuela had attracted widespread international attention, Wang said China has consistently opposed the use of threat of force in international relations and rejects imposing one country's will on others. The United States could raise tariffs on India if New Delhi doesn't meet Washington's demand to curb purchases of Russian oil. President Donald Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One. Trump said on Sunday, "Modi is a good guy. He knew I wasn't happy, and it was important to make me happy. They do trade and we can raise tariffs on them very quickly," Trump said in response to a question on India's Russian oil purchases. India's Commerce Ministry did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The U.S. doubled import tariffs on Indian goods to 50% last year as punishment for its heavy buying of Russian oil. Despite the heavy tariffs, India's exports to the U.S. leapt in November.